195 pounds, from Austin, Texas, Paul London. And his opponent, weighing in at 185 pounds, from Aberdeen, Washington, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
It comes down to this for the #1 Contenders Trophy. It's American Dragon taking on Paul London.
And the winner of this match in just 3 weeks, December 28, 2002, the last show of the year for Ring of Honor, they will be taking on the winner of the Xavier AJ Styles match that's going to follow.
Both these guys have had hard-fought victories earlier tonight. It was Paul London defeating Easy Money and American Dragon Bryan Danielson defeating Chad Collier. So they're both pretty much in an even keel as they both wrestled once and won once.
Yep, they both had enough time to rest in the back, though. Some time has passed. There was an intermission in between also. So both guys, they should be in pretty tip-top condition going into this one. Of course, you know, they probably have some lingering injuries, but one thing about wrestlers, they're tough. They're used to fighting with lingering injuries.
If they weren't, they wouldn't be in the ring at all.
Nope, if they weren't, they'd last about one match in Ring of Honor or any other promotion for that matter, and they'd retire.
They wouldn't even have gotten to Ring of Honor.
And you see Paul Turner there trying to separate them. And Dragon, not really a clean break, using that opportunity to chop Paul London. This is what I was talking about earlier with American Dragon. He came so close to getting the title shot that was supposed to happen tonight, but AJ Styles defeated him. That was, of course, that classic Match of the Year candidate that they had at All-Star Extravaganza. So Dragon's come so close before the glory, hasn't quite gotten it yet, and you got to figure maybe he's coming out a little bit aggressive here. He doesn't want to be denied again.
Yeah, we're seeing a little more aggression from him. You know, he's going by his real name, Bryan Danielson now. I don't know if he's maybe trying to...
Paul, sorry to cut you off there, Jeff, but Paul London's throwing, hey, I'm not going to take that from you, and comes right back with a chop, not breaking right there.
And now a handshake. But we can see American Dragon maybe coming out of his shell, which was already successful, maybe going, you know, in a little bit higher level as well.
Dragon he's the best in the world, one of the best in the world right now, and he's on the verge of really solidifying himself as being one of the true elite going today, and a big victory here would do that. Paul, big chops. Paul London, on the other hand, his star has climbed higher than anybody, faster than anybody so far in Ring of Honor. He came here round robin challenge as an unknown, had a 31-minute match until Chris Marvel had that gruesome ankle injury, so viewer discretion if you're watching that tape. Since that time, he has just gained popularity show by show by show. It was unscripted. He had that Match of the Year ladder match street fight against Michael Shane that really propelled him to stardom, and he can really take his career to the next level by defeating someone like American Dragon here and going on and winning the ROH title against either Xavier or AJ Styles December 28th.
Paul London has momentum on his side, but also American Dragon coming off a big victory, not just earlier tonight, but beating Doug Williams 1-0 in that 30-minute Ironman match in Boston.
That was Scramble Madness.
Scramble Madness, yeah. So we got two very hot wrestlers right now, and one of them will get even more hot with a win here, so they'll really have the momentum going in against the champion.
Yep, and real quick, Jeff, I just want to mention, you can see Best of American Dragon. You can see also 5,000 other wrestling tapes from just about every promotion, ECW, all the indies, you name it, plus best of tapes with just about everybody in ROH and all the biggest names in the business. You can get it at rfvideo.com or by calling 215-891-9404. And for the latest from Ring of Honor, check rohwrestling.com or call that number 215-891-9404 as we got an exchange of slaps.
Chops, slaps, they're going at it here. The trophy on the line. These guys have been through so much, and they know that they're just one win away from that title shot.
And of course, you win that trophy, you get that title shot. There's no other way around it. That's what that trophy is there for. And you know, out of these, whoever wins it, they won 2 tough matches going in to face that champion. They earned that title shot.
And London with an arm drag and an arm bar now, and then goes into a cross arm break.
Not able to get it. Look at Dragon clasping those hands, so he wasn't able to get the full extension on it, trying to bridge out, but Paul London there, big leg over to the midsection. And now Danielson using his legs for some leverage there, still not quite able to get out of the hole, but yep, he's forcing Paul London over. Danielson just knows all those leverage moves, all those counter holds. He is so good.
So many counters that the match stays on the mat. Oh, here comes the crossface shots.
absolutely brutal.
He was just lighting up Paul London with those shots. This is not the position London wants to be in. He wants to get American Dragon down and be able to start flying around the ring.
And don't forget, Jeff, this is the second time these two have met with the #1 Contenders Trophy on the line. It was All-Star Extravaganza. That's how the first ever meeting in that Gauntlet series between London and Dragon. London, however, had already wrestled Michael Shane and defeated him, wrestled Amazing Red and defeated him, and those were kind of high-flying matches, kind of a little brawl with Michael Shane. Then Dragon came and grounded him and was able to defeat him with counter mutilation, but after he already had those two tough matches.
So we're going to see if Paul London was able to learn from that match and be able to put together a different game plan so it's not based too much around mat wrestling, although we see that London has been able to hang with him pretty well.
And now well, he hung with him in that match, but you got to figure he had two matches right before that, plus that whole emotional scene with Tommy Dreamer. So you have to figure right now these are much more even keel with Danielson than he was last time.
And now London sends American Dragon in and fires him over with an arm drag. And he faked him out that time. La Magistral Cradle and a 2 count. And now a Japanese arm drag, so London really getting it going.
And you got to figure that right now Xavier and AJ Styles, they have to be prepared for their match, but at the same time they got to be keeping an eye on this one.
That's right. They've got a big match tonight, but one of these two could be next to. It would be next in line for the title shot.
Yeah, they will be.
But I think AJ Styles is probably really focused on the title match right now.
Yep, you got to think about getting that title before you can think about defending it.
And London trying to force those shoulders down, but American Dragon bridging up. London bringing all that weight down, and American Dragon wisely gets out of the ring after that.
Yep, it looks like Dragon's knee has recovered. He's had time to rest it, massage it, put ice on it, do whatever he needed to do after that match with Chad Collier. So it looks like the knee really isn't hurting him there. Probably would have taken a little damage right there on that last move by Paul London, but I think that knee is back to being as close to 100% as it can be.
And now American Dragon making his way back in, trying to think about how to get this match going again the way he wants it. And we heard earlier the fans really go nuts for London, and you're starting to hear more of a groundswell of support for London every time out.
Well, the fans, they love and respect both these guys, and they have that appreciation for the way that Paul London puts his, whoa, look at those knife edge chops. Ouch. Oh, he is lighting them up.
Jeez, about 9 in a row, and there were more coming, but London just went down.
Oh, Ric Flair and Ronnie Garvin got nothing on that.
American Dragon. Another one. How is London standing?
But he's taking them all, and he even fired back with one. Oh.
And floors him with a European uppercut.
And London really, he has to stay out of that chop and forearm and mat work game with Danielson. He's really got to go to more of those high-flying maneuvers that he uses so well, those same moves that get him those please don't die chants from the fans.
And a body slam. We're seeing American Dragon just really turn into high gear, and we're starting to see him getting a little upset with the fans for cheering London so much.
Yeah, he's just showing a whole new aggressive side to him, and it might be this aggressiveness that takes him to the next level.
It's going to make him more dangerous as if he weren't already dangerous enough. And now an abdominal stretch applied on London, and London has got to be in incredible pain from all those chops.
Yep, I mean, you're dealing with Paul London, came here as an unknown, shot right up the ladder. You're dealing with somebody like Danielson, American Dragon. He came here as one of the top guys, main event of the first show, but let's say he's one of the top 5 guys. He's been unable to break through, maybe be like one of the top 2 guys, and a victory here could put him there, as he's had just some incredible matches, which we went over in the Collier thing. But what he really needs is that huge victory. He had it with Loki on the second show, but that was March 30th, round robin challenge. He needs to follow up with another big one right here.
And it's amazing. The fans, they really respect American Dragon. They recognize him as being one of the best in the world, but now he wants to prove it to himself, and he wants that trophy, and then he wants that gold to really solidify himself at the very top. And you see the competitiveness. Look at this Indian deathlock, and then the elbow coming down on London. That's an innovative move. And there it is again.
And so far, he is just dominating Paul London. He is just overpowering him and just kind of brutal. Oh!
And now getting those arms back in a version of a surfboard here.
And look at London trying to power out using all his strength, but leverage isn't on his side. But hold on, no, there's a real struggle going on. Not pinning.
And a 2 count there. But still, this is not the position London wants to be in. That's an American Dragon style. He's got to get moving around again. Oh, another European uppercut. by the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, going after the #1 Contenders trophy. And London down one more time.
Look at just the bottom of the boot right to the face. Oh, and then he steps on him. He just stepped on his face.
We're seeing something different out of American Dragon here, Chris. It's almost like the frustration of not breaking through to the very top is starting to show through.
You know what? I like this aggressiveness, though. And I think this is what American Dragon needs to do. But hold on, Paul London ducks, hits one of those beautiful drop kicks.
And another one, just because you like him so much. He gave you an extra one. Whips him in reverse, springing off the second rope.
And this is what I was just saying. Paul London's going to have to go more to that quickness, more to that high flying, get out of Bryan Danielson's game, and that's exactly what he's doing right now, and he's got the advantage.
That worked very well. He really got good impact, and that one too. And London with a gut-wrench suplex. And standing moonsault. No, but American Dragon kicks out. We've seen Dragon kick out of some amazing stuff over the last few months.
Oh, it takes a lot to put this guy away. He's kicked out of the Key Cruncher. He's kicked out of the Styles Clash. He's kicked out of Slice Bread #2. And he's kicked out of the Chaos Theory. This guy kicks about just about everything. You almost have to hit your finisher twice on him to put him away. And what was that, Def Dorman?
Crossed arm German suplex. And that really did some damage.
Your ref, Paul Turner, right on top of the action.
And American Dragon right back up.
And the fans already into this one. They like both these guys. They're just enjoying this hard-hitting action. This is what professional wrestling is all about. Forget about sports entertainment. We do professional wrestling here. Wrestling as a sport, and that's what you're seeing. American Dragon versus Paul London.
And there's the forearm for London. American Dragon paying him back a little bit there. Hooks him up into a snap suplex. American Dragon, very good conditioning. You mentioned that 60-minute Ironman match for the title that he went through. He can just go and not get tired. And now, Danielson to the top.
No, it's American Dragon using that 30-minute Ironman match.
I'm talking about the 60-minute one. Oh, he wasn't in the 60-minute.
Yeah, he was in the 30-minute one.
He was in the 30-minute one.
But guess what? Jeff, I'll back your point up because he looked very impressive in that 30-minute one, and he looked like he could have gone another 30 in that one against Doug Williams, that classic they had at Scramble Madness.
Thanks for bailing me out. And now, American Dragon winds it up. London puts on the brakes and drops him with a side neck breaker. London just keeps coming back and keeps, squirming out of trouble.
When you talk about the creative, innovative athletes in Ring of Honor, Paul London is definitely one of those, using lots of variations. We saw it earlier. There was a mini TV taping before this show. He used a new variation of the powerbomb against Angel Dust to score a victory in that. And, there's no telling what this guy's going to pull out next. Against Easy Money, he used that variation of a DDT to get a quick pinfall. So this guy can come up with anything at about any time.
Both guys tumbling over the top to the floor of the Murphy Rec Center in Philly.
And you know what? We've said it before. Well, not tonight, but I've said it before. You really got to be here live. Tape does not do this justice. They say, oh, the ECW Arena, that's a legendary building, a place to be. It's not the ECW Arena that became legendary. It's ECW inside the ECW Arena that made it legendary. Without ECW there, it's just a bingo hall. The Murphy Rec Center is getting that atmosphere. Tommy Dreamer said himself, this is that something special that he used to know in ECW, and you have to be here live to experience it for yourself, because there's something special going on here at the Murphy Rec Center in South Philly.
Ooh, Paul London went for the Asai moonsault, but American Dragon broke it up in a super kick on the floor. And you're talking about the atmosphere. That's why these fans, they keep coming back to Philly and or other venues, and they never know what they're going to see. They know they're going to see great wrestling, but sometimes they never know who they're going to see show up. You mentioned Tommy Dreamer was an incredible surprise.
Yep, surprise. And hey, even ICP was in this building.
That's right.
They quite didn't get the warm reaction of Tommy Dreamer, but hey, and we could, he's going for something big here. Nice, perfect flying body press.
And a 2 count there. I mean, you don't want to put pressure on an athlete by comparing him to somebody else, but, Paul London kind of reminds me of Ricky Steamboat a little bit.
Oh, he definitely has those tendencies, but he takes that in a whole new direction. Ricky, and you hear the fans getting behind both guys right here. Ricky Steamboat, very basic wrestler. Paul London does some really fancy high-impact stuff, and ooh. And their legs are locked up, I believe, and they're doing these chops to each other.
They're not going anywhere. They're staying right there.
No.
Ducked under.
Oh, takes him over. Oh!
Woo.
2.
That was only 2.
I thought that was it right there.
Me too. I thought London had the magic formula to win this match.
And you talk about American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, he knows all those holds and counter holds. Paul London proving, hey, he's got some tricks in his bag too.
Body slam by London. He's going up again. This is what London likes to do. Get his opponent in position and then take to the sky.
Well, this is kind of what he has to do against somebody with the power and the mat technique of Bryan Danielson. And as you notice, when he started taking to the air, when he started doing those quick moves, he started getting some offense in because Danielson was dominating him early.
London trying to make his way up there, but American Dragon puts on the brakes and he just wrenched his knee around the turnbuckle. That could be a problem.
Yep. Taking too long there, and oh, look at those forearms to the back. And you know, these guys are laying it in there. These guys are tough. This is what hard-hitting wrestling is all about. As we, slips, a little slippery up there, but hold on, he's got his footing back.
This could be big trouble for London.
Oh! Huge back suplex from the top rope.
And London turned over and landed right on his face.
And there you see, hold on, that knee. He might have re-aggravated that knee from that earlier match with Chad Collier as he was clutching it. That suplex might have taken more out of Danielson than it did out of London as he tries to turn him over. Cover.
Oh, 2.5. London somehow able to kick out. This shows how bad these two want to be the #1 contender.
And he's turned him over, baby. Cattle mutilation.
That could be it.
This is what made Loki pass out.
That's it.
Look.
Cattle mutilation.
He's trying. I think that other knee isn't quite there. No, he's got it planted. He's got both feet planted. He's got it hooked. Paul London's in a lot of trouble here, but he's inching towards the ropes. He might get it. And if Danielson doesn't pull him out here, he's going to get the ropes. And
he's not giving up.
Paul Turner on top of it, checking. Yes.
He's under the ropes.
Paul Turner right there getting him the moment he got under the rope, making sure that hold is broken.
Tremendous fight shown by Paul London to somehow squirm his way. He didn't break the cattle mutilation, but he was able to just reach the ropes and force the break. American Dragon can't be too happy with that one.
Oh. And he lights him up again, and that chest is becoming all bruised, and those blood cells, those blood vessels getting broken in the chest of Paul London, and you can see it as that skin is just turning red.
And American Dragon trying to deliver the final knockout blow. He's done everything he can to put Paul London away, but nothing's worked yet.
Yeah, but Paul London's done quite a bit to Bryan Danielson as well.
He's pulled out some amazing stuff.
And you know what? Either of these men would make a proud ROH champion, unlike Xavier.
That's right, Xavier with the technical ability, but not a proud champion, not someone who upholds the values that Ring of Honor stands for.
And both these men treat wrestling like a sport. They take it very, very seriously. This isn't sports entertainment to them. This is their livelihoods. This is what they love to do. And they're showing it, putting it all on the line right here. As we got, look at that. Danielson trying to go for another one of those big suplexes, and London just elbowing his way out of it.
Look at American Dragon hold on. He's grasping on the top rope, just taking those shots.
Oh.
And finally he goes down. He was not about to give up on that move that he had planned for Paul London.
And what a hard-hitting match we've seen here. And what a growing rivalry we have now between Paul London and American Dragon after that match at All-Star Extravaganza and this match right here as Danielson trying again. But look at that fight in London. Paul London showing he's got that heart. Never say die. Paul London firing back with those forearms on Bryan Danielson to the back, to the face. Danielson down. London still up.
Down he goes again. Paul London trying to get, and here comes American Dragon again.
One more time. Dragon going for it again, and headbutt, 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 headbutt. And he is reeling. American Dragon is getting dazed right now. All those forearm blows, those headbutts, they have him reeling. There's another one. He collapses again. Paul London making his way up to the top. Hold on.
Here it is.
Might have him. Shooting star press.
Yes. He got him.
Paul London's your winner. Paul London, he's going on to face the winner of AJ Styles versus Xavier for the ROH title. I'm so excited I can hardly talk. What a match we just saw. What another breakout victory for Paul London. And look at him. Look at that emotion on his face.